Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. Let's talk SmackDown. Now, for weeks, I have been singing SmackDown's praises as the best brand so far this year. This episode, in many ways, really wanted to contest that, actually, and really wanted to try and prove me wrong. Which I'm just like, why? Because you've got so much potential going on in WWE right now, and particularly because WrestleMania is right around the corner, but also the talent and the potential storylines going on. And as we know, WWE like to fuck with us, and they like to go, oh, you see a great opportunity here. Okay, let's ruin it. Let's ruin it. Let's give you what you want, but take it away immediately. Let's go down some bullshit storyline that you don't want and never give you what you want. Do you know what I mean? Lots of these sorts of things. Or like, let's just do this random thing. We've got a whole roster here, but let's just do this random thing. Lots of bullshit. Lots of bullshit, right? Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber, which was a very good thing. It was a good surprise. No one expected it to happen, but it happened, and it was a great surprise. That, WWE, is how you make unpredictable wrestling, because predictable wrestling, not always bad, sometimes not as fun. And sometimes when it's predictable and wrong, subjectively wrong, it's not fun. If it's predictable but right, fair enough. Which is what Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill could be, but I beg to differ. But we'll talk about that later. Randy Orton came out to cut his promo. Who interrupted him? Trick Williams. What did Ryan do? Hit him with an RKO. Was there any point in this segment? I don't know. Because in my opinion, with WrestleMania just around the corner, Randy challenging for the WWE title, Trick Williams and Randy Orton do not need to be scrapping right now. When Randy wins the title at Mania, because if he doesn't, we'll be pissed off, and there's a good reason why. When Randy wins that title at Mania, if he's going to feud with Trick after Mania, I'm here for it. I'm happy, right? But right now, what's the point? If anything, we should be putting Trick towards something for Mania. And that isn't Randy Orton. It might be a Sami Zayn. It might be someone. In my opinion, it should be Carmelo Hayes for the US title. Because yes, you want to put him in the main World Heavyweight title division, but like there's good history there with Carmelo Hayes, and we know they'd put on a banger of a match. And if you put a title on him, it's not like Carmelo Hayes has had a bad reign, and it's not like he's had a short reign. I think WrestleMania is a great place to lose the title, and that would just put some momentum and some mileage on Trick Williams. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll do anything to harm Trick Williams. I don't think it'll do anything to harm Carmelo Hayes. If anything, taking Carmelo Hayes out of the United States title division might put him in the world title division, where he deserves to be. So, in my opinion, that should be a potential for Mania, but it's fine. They're not going to build that. But yeah, Randy Orton challenging the WWE champion at Mania. And the main event of this SmackDown, we all knew heading in before it, was the thing WWE told us was not going to happen, and then it happens and swerves us right before Mania. WWE has a habit of just not thinking about things beforehand, particularly when it comes to WrestleMania. Do you remember when 2019 Becky Lynch wins the Rumble and she challenges Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania? And Charlotte Flair, who was not a champion, didn't win a Rumble, didn't win a Chamber, somehow ends up being in that match. And then not only does she end up being in that match, making it a triple threat match between Becky and Ronda, even though Becky won the Rumble to get that opportunity, she then magically beats Asuka on a random episode of SmackDown to become SmackDown Women's Champion. And all of a sudden, the first ever women's main event is now for both the Raw Women's and the SmackDown Women's Championship. Oh, that's convenient. And how about literally last year, when Io Sky didn't win the Rumble, and then she didn't qualify for the Chamber. Bianca Belair won the Chamber. Rhea Ripley was the Women's World Heavyweight Champion. We were about to get a dream match of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. But Io Sky, despite not winning the Rumble and despite not qualifying for the Chamber, the two things that you need to win to get to Mania, randomly gets granted an opportunity. Even though she had an opportunity in the Rumble, she had an opportunity to be in the Chamber, but magically got granted an opportunity at the Women's World title. Not at WrestleMania, but on a Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania, you know. And magically now beats Rhea Ripley, and now we have a triple threat match on our hands. Granted, glad they made that decision, because it was a banger match, it was a match of the year, but maybe they could have thought about that a bit earlier on. Maybe they could have had Io beat Bianca earlier on. Maybe they could have thought about the story. Maybe last year it worked. This year, am I a fan of it? No, I'm not. Right? Because Drew McIntyre deserves to be WWE champion. Absolutely. Cody Rhodes being WWE champion and facing Randy Orton at Mania is better than a Randy Drew match. I don't like, obviously, right? And Cody and Randy could have happened at Mania. It didn't need to be for the WWE title. Someone else could have won the Chamber, and you could have got a push from someone that were liked. And Drew McIntyre didn't have to have a terrible title reign. But no. The best numbers possible. Randy win the Chamber, good. But that means Cody now has to magically, despite the fact it was in contractual agreement that Drew McIntyre, should he win the WWE title when he did, Cody Rhodes does not get an immediate rematch unless he wins the Rumble or wins the Chamber to face him at WrestleMania. Now, I know Drew cost Cody in the Rumble. I know Drew cost Cody in the Chamber. And maybe they were thinking this out a bit more in advance. And I'll give them credit that haven't kind of lied. You know, Nick Aldis did kind of point out that, oh, well, you broke this agreement. Yeah, you got involved with Cody in the Rumble. You got involved with Cody in the Chamber. You've got involved with Cody and so many other things. Countless times. So I decided to go against the agreement as well and make that match. And obviously we all knew Cody was going to win. And yes, Randy is better. But at the same time, and we don't dislike Cody. It's not a problem with Cody. It's the problem with the booking. Because while, yes, you've thought it out and you've not just chucked it together, like you've built it up, but at the same time, we all saw it coming. And Drew literally won that title less than 2 months ago. And it was like, what was the point in Drew McIntyre winning that title? Drew McIntyre did not win that title because he was a big star who needed the title. Drew McIntyre won that title because you knew he could give good matches, good story, and he deserved it. Look what he did in lockdown. Look at everything he's done since then when he's not been world champion in front of the fans. He's given us banger after banger of a feud and a match, and you give him a shit title reign. And I agree, this probably wasn't the best time for Drew to be champion, which is why I have a new theory. Maybe it shouldn't have been Cody Rhodes to beat John Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. Maybe it should have been Drew McIntyre. We already got Cody Rhodes, John Cena at WrestleMania. Yes, it was a disappointing match. Yes, you wanted to redeem it, but unfortunately, that's just how the cards roll out. And Cena turned babyface naturally right before SummerSlam against another babyface. Maybe Drew McIntyre, being the bad guy that he is, could have dragged the babyface Cena back out. And maybe that would have put more stardom on the name of Drew McIntyre by beating the greatest of all time in his record-breaking reign. Cody Rhodes already has enough mileage. I don't know if you know that. You know, the guy broke Roman Reigns' streak. He was a WWE champion. He won Chambers, King of the Ring, everything, right? 2 Rumbles back-to-back. The first to do it, the most recent to do it since Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Cody didn't need to beat Cena at SummerSlam. Maybe Drew should have beat Cena at SummerSlam. And then in November, when they were having this feud, Cody could have won the title back then. And then we could have had 5 months of a build between Randy and Cody as Cody being WWE champion and not just a swerve switch title reign at the last minute. I'm not a fan of them doing that. I seen it coming. The story was there. It makes sense. But just don't do it. Like, because you did it last year as well. If I see this next year, I'm deleting WWE. I'm deleting it. I'm just deleting it. You know what I mean? But we've got to look on the bright side. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, dream match, Mania, WWE title. Randy's going to be WWE champion again. That's the bright side about it. And Drew, while I did want him to face Nick Aldis or Magnus at Mania, I'm starting to think maybe they're going somewhere else with it. Maybe they are going with Jacob Fatu, which would be cool. It would be cool, but we've seen that match. We've seen that feud for so long, and I just feel like we don't need it at Mania. I think I want to see Nick Aldis at Mania, and I think Nick Aldis wants to see Nick Aldis at Mania. Because Jacob Fatu's got so many potential other matchups, like Sami Zayn, right? Sami Zayn has been kicking off in previous weeks. 2 weeks ago at Cody Rhodes, last week at Jacob Fatu, and now this week at Cody Rhodes again, you know, for getting his title match. And then at Randy Orton, who give him some good advice, you know. Sometimes you've got to be a bit selfish, you know. And there showed up Aleister Black, and everything started clicking. Well, first of all, it's ironic he showed up after Randy Orton, because Randy Orton kind of took Aleister's advice a bit. And now Aleister's trying to plant those things into Sammy, who's very confused and doesn't know how to feel about things. Aleister could get in the head of Sami Zayn and kind of start making this character change. Not just yet. It's not going to happen until after Mania. Because I think our Mania match for Sami Zayn is Aleister Black. And honestly, I'm not going to complain. Last Mania, well, it didn't happen at last Mania, but like after Mania, we had Sammy Carrion. Carrion was trying to get into Sami Zayn's head. It didn't work. Aleister Black could be the one to do that. And let's be honest, these two put on a Mania match. If you give Sami Zayn and Aleister Black an opportunity to put on a good match at WrestleMania, they are going to tear the fucking house down. Mark my words, whatever night, whether it's night 1 or night 2, whether it's the night of Randy Cody or the night of Punk Roman, Aleister Black and Sami Zayn will have match of the night. They might even have match of Mania. They might even have match of the year. Especially the WrestleMania. With a good story, I can just picture Sami Zayn, like, you know, trying to fight the demons of Aleister Black and just beating the shit out of him. And even though Aleister loses, he's still kind of won because he's got that thing out of Sami. And after WrestleMania, we're going to get a Sami Zayn heel turn, probably with a feud with Cody and a feud with Randy and a feud with Jacob. Who knows? And I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it, because do something interesting with Sami Zayn that isn't just somehow miraculously having him win. Do you know what I mean? Because that version of Sami Zayn that just snaps at everybody and starts just being selfish and all that sort of shit is the type of version of Sami Zayn that I'd want to see win the WWE title. Not just the Sami Zayn that shows up, whines about not being WWE champion and becomes WWE champion and everybody's happy. Like, no. A Sami Zayn that had a banger at Mania and eventually just snaps on everyone. He would be WWE champion. Heel Sami Zayn is the better Sami Zayn. Let's just be for real. He's a perfect underdog and a perfect babyface, but an even better heel. Because his work with the Bloodline was the best shit ever. And you have to admit, like, you're telling me the best version of Sami Zayn wasn't the one in the Bloodline? You're wrong. And yes, he was a comedic character, but you're telling me he can't do that while he's serious? Of course he can. I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm ready for that match and I love it. As for the WWE Women's title, Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, we're getting the face off. I say it now, the match makes sense, Rhea and Jade. But I still disagree. I still think Raquel Rodriguez would have done better. Why? Because it's just the exact same. It's the exact same. Rhea and Jade had an awful promo. I'm just going to say it was an awful promo. It was just weird and awkward. It was just like Jade going, oh, I've got bigger arms, I've got bigger shoulders, and then Rhea's like, you may have bigger arms, you may have bigger shoulders, but I'm gonna win a Mania. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. We're building for WrestleMania, not a main event of SmackDown. What are you doing? Put some oomph behind it. This title match, yes, it's Rhea Ripley. It's everybody's favorite. I like Rhea Ripley. I like Rhea fucking Ripley. I agree. Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill on paper is a fantastic match. But at the same time, if you're telling me Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill is a better story, remember this is WrestleMania. It's not about matches. Match quality will be good, but it's also about storytelling. All the storytelling throughout the year should come to WrestleMania. WrestleMania should be the main event of it all. Jade and Rhea have not even crossed paths, and it doesn't make any sense. Raquel and Jade makes 10 times more sense, because Raquel, first of all, has been with Liv facing off with Jade and all that. There's that bit of history there. Raquel has been in Liv's shadow, because when Liv was gone, Raquel was trying to win the Women's World title and she couldn't, and Liv comes back and now she's took that spot. And that hurts for Raquel. Raquel has never won a Women's World title, never won a singles match at Mania, I don't think. This would be that push for her. This would be the way to divide up the Judgment Day. Have Raquel be world champion on SmackDown and Liv be world champion on Monday Night Raw. And that would make perfect sense, especially because Finn and Dom are most likely going to split up as well. Like, there's so many potential storylines there, or like vantage points. What's the vantage point for Rhea Jade? Like a competitive match between two people who don't like each other? Like, Rhea doesn't need I'm winning at my first title at Mania. She's done that. You know, she's had 5 world title matches at Mania. 5. like, this means nothing. Like, it doesn't add anything. It's cool. It's a good match, but it doesn't add anything. I think Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky one-on-one, with Rhea Ripley finally beating Io Sky one-on-one, would have been a better match because we know they're going to deliver. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no story there for me. It seemed like a cop-out, like, oh, Rhea gets the loudest pop, let's have her win the chamber. Cool logic, man, but this was your chance to push Raquel Rodriguez, and you didn't take it. And in my opinion, it's a mistake. You're probably going to have a decent match, but I'm not backing it. I'm just saying it. I'm not backing it. Anyways, though, as for the tag team champions, we knew we were going to have a tag team gauntlet match to determine number one contenders to the MFTs. For Mania, we don't know, but we think it's just like number one contender. So probably on a random episode of SmackDown. And this is where we're concerned, right? Because the White Six were in there, Motor City Machine Guns were in there, Fraxian were in there, Los Lothar or Los Garza, or whatever they're called now, were in there. Obviously, we've lost a couple tag teams like Rey Fenix and Andrade aren't a team anymore. Gargano and Ciampa aren't a team anymore. Street Profits aren't around. I don't know why that is. Maybe Angelo Dawkins is injured. Maybe because I see Montez Ford hanging out with the Usos. I thought they might have Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona in there, but no, which is fine because they should be treated like single superstars. But one team they did have in there was R-Truth and Damian Priest. Now, I get it, they've been spotted in some backstage segments together. They do have friendship and previous experience as tag partners. And they are funny together, let's be honest. And they're not doing anything with Damian Priest, and they don't want to waste him because he's a valuable star. And he does have some stardom, as much as some people think it's artificial. It's star power, regardless, right? And to be honest, he should be using the build-up to Mania. Like, you know, not saying he needs to be in the world title match, but to say he's not being used is quite insulting. Do you know what I mean? The guy's worked his arse off. So this is their angle of using him. Did they have an actual tag team win that match? No. Did they have the Wyatt Six, who they're feuding with, win that match? No. But they did have MFT cost the Wyatt Six, so clearly their feud's going to continue. But Priest and Truth won the match, and they were the last team out there anyway. My thought is maybe they're going to have Priest and Truth potentially win these tag team titles against the Wyatt Six before Mania, and then Truth and Priest will probably have an interesting match at Mania. Meanwhile, the Wyatt Six are now going to cost MFT, and then we're going to get a big Wyatt Six MFT battle at Mania to end it all. Which, do you know what? I don't disagree with that. Priest and Truth become number one contenders. I don't mind. Me personally, I don't mind because they're entertaining. You just can't deny that, and they're good in the ring. Well, obviously, Truth's a bit past prime, but Priest is good in the ring. As long as they actually utilize proper tag teams, it would have been nice that if Truth and Priest had built themselves up as a tag team, but they're not really meant to be tag team. They're just kind of meant to be like a nice fun thing to do. But I hope they actually utilize some tag teams at Mania, and maybe Priest and Truth just hold these belts for 3 weeks until Mania. It's a bit more than 3 weeks. I think it's 5 weeks. And then drop them to whoever takes them. And I wouldn't complain, you know. But I think they're just waiting, because we've lost a couple of tag teams, I think they're waiting to build up some more tag teams. And talking of the tag division, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, again, they're so completely random out of nowhere. New women's tag team titles conveniently right before Rhea Ripley wins the chamber. Come out to celebrate. Alexa, Charlotte come out like, no, we want a match. Julia, Kiana come out like, no, we want a match. Kiana actually had a good point. She beat both Nia and Charlotte Flair in triple threat match last week, and then eliminated Alexa Bliss from the chamber. So if anyone deserves a shot at anything, it's her, which is fair. So then Julia, Kiana James, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair had a tag team match. Who won? I can't remember. Was there a DQ? I think so. Listen, I can't remember who won. It's my bad. But we're probably going to get a triple threat. Oh, I think Charlotte and Alexa won, actually. I remember now. Yeah, Charlotte and Alexa did win. So they're probably going to have a match in a couple of weeks, which Julia and Kiana are going to interrupt. And I mean, I would say Mania, but I think at Mania for the women's tag team titles, they should have a big fuck off like ladder match, because we've got plenty of women who are in now tag teams in the tag division, because they've been building their women's tag division while ignoring everything else. I do think they should have a big ladder match to pay it off. I mean, you've got Irresistible Forces, you've got Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, you've got Julia, Kiana James, and then over on Raw, you got the Kabuki Warriors, you got Bayley and Lyra, And you got the Bella Twins, who said they were actually going to come and win the women's tag team titles after the Rumble, and then disappeared for weeks. And I think that would make a good ladder match, because now, you've got 2 times 6. You've got 12 women now who are making it to Mania. 12 who were not going to be in any singles matches, let's be honest. The only singles match potential there would have been Kairi versus Asuka, but there's not enough time to build that now. So, I think they should do it. Will the Bella Twins win that match? Most likely, but it is what it is. If you ask me, the better story there is having Bayley and Lyra win, but sometimes WWE aren't that clever. So, that's what I think about that one. I think that should happen, in my opinion. I think the only other thing to talk about, because I've ranted about Cody winning that WWE title, oh, no, there's actually one thing to talk about. Carmelo Hayes, he was the first match out, did his US Open Challenge, but it wasn't an open challenge. Nicholls said he got in contact and he had some contacts about who might be his challenger for tonight. And when he was coming out to ring, I thought it might be Moose. I don't know why. Thought it might be Moose, but I think it's because on Instagram I literally saw Moose had made a post about the matches he had with Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Yvonne Evans, saying, "Oh, had the pleasure of doing all these nice matches for these newly rising WWE stars." So I thought, okay, maybe now we might be going for Carmelo Hayes. Maybe that might have been their Easter egg. But also WWE has a habit of hiring TNA and AAA talent and signing them as their own, aka Joe Hendry, aka Matt Cardona. Do you know what I mean? So I thought maybe now it's Moose. Moose has been in TNA for years. God knows how long. I mean, I've not watched TNA, but I've known who Moose is, and I've known that he's been tied to TNA for years. So maybe this is their time to switch it up. Maybe it's time for Moose's run in WWE. But no, I was wrong. It was in fact another AAA wrestler. It was El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., the most ridiculously long name of all time, but he's an incredible wrestler. He doesn't look like it by his shape. The guy's an incredible wrestler. He got no pop from the crowd, but it gave him 5 seconds in the ring, he started getting a pop from the crowd. Their style of wrestling is a bit different, so he was a bit slower, but he was hitting good moves, put it that way. And he quickly impressed that crowd, so it was decent, I think if you're trying to mix it up and trying to make it different, that's the way to do it. And finally, the last thing to talk about, as we know, Johnny Gargano's been depressed ever since Tommaso Ciampa left. He had no best friend. He wasn't winning matches. He lost his mask to Axiom. And he's just been all depressed. And Candice was just like, "Hey, man, I need that Johnny wrestling back." And then all of a sudden he just woke up and went, "We're going to the ring." And he seemed dead motivated. He started cutting a promo about, "I've lost this, I've lost that. I used to be the guy." Johnny Wrestling is one of the best wrestlers in the goddamn world, and I'm tired of pretending like I'm not. And that felt real, because he's been in the tag team where he's been losing all these matches, and we're pretending like Johnny Gargano isn't one of the best wrestlers in that company, because he is. We're pretending like the black and gold era with Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole didn't exist. When it did. We saw the matches Johnny Gargano was able to put on, and he has me thinking, oh shit, Johnny Gargano is going to get rebuilt. Johnny Gargano is going to get a push. And that's when he challenged anyone to come out here and challenge him. And that's where I just went. Because I knew what was happening. I knew it was going to be Obafemi answering that challenge. Don't get me wrong. I've got no problem with Obafemi. I love Obafemi. And I think Obafemi squashing people is great. It's not great for the people getting squashed, but it depends how you do it methodically, right? And this, to me, just felt like such a kick in the teeth, because I'm like, oh my god, we're getting Johnny Wrestling back. And then he gets squashed by Obafemi. But I'm hoping maybe this is the start of it, I'm hoping maybe he's like, okay, minor setback, but we're going to build Johnny Gargano back up. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do, because he had his singles matches with Nathan Fraser and Axiom. People seen he can hang. I think have him answer an open challenge one time, which I think he's already done, but let's build Johnny Gargano back up, please. But that's my thoughts on SmackDown anyway. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.